All right, this week we welcome on AJ Larkin, the junior long stick midfielder who had a very timely goal in the Syracuse game. AJ, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you, Michael. I'm excited to be a part of this Under the Shell. So thank you very much.
Well, we're very excited to have you. Let's start with that goal against the Syracuse game. You don't get too many opportunities to take shots at the net, but when you do, you've capitalized. Take me through what you saw in that play and your goal against Syracuse.
I think the ball kind of poked out to the midfield line, and I was kind of at first just going to pick up the ball and hopefully push some transition. And I saw a gap. I think the Syracuse defenders kind of just dropped back, and I saw an alleyway, and I kind of just saw the shot, and I decided to take it. It was a great opportunity. Yeah, I think it was really helpful. A lot of drills we do in practice, kind of practicing transition.
So in practice, you're more taking those opportunities, even when mainly you're not coming into the offensive side, still practicing routinely taking shots like that.
Yeah, I would say we practice a lot with whether it be most of I'd say like our rope unit and even defenders. We practice our shooting. I wouldn't say a lot, but you're always it's kind of like you're in the backyard just goofing around. But when I am practicing transition, especially in practice with those guys, if you have the opportunity, I think just take it. So that was the goal, and I was thankful that I went in.
Tell me a little bit about how you've kind of developed during your time here in College Park. Obviously, 2023, you had no action then. Then you played 16 games last season. Now you're one of the older leaders on this team. Kind of how have you grown and developed, not only as a player, but also a leader for this Terps team?
Yeah, so I think coming into college, you never really know what to expect, especially when you come to a great program like Maryland. It's just this place means a lot to so many different people. And, coming in as a freshman, I didn't really know what was going to go down. I got to, especially the last 2 years, I got to learn from obviously older guy J-Mac, who's still on the team now, but guys like Ajax Apatello, Brett Makar, John Geppert, like great long stick defenders and long stick midfielders. So really kind of my freshman year, especially when I decided to redshirt, gave me the opportunity to kind of be a sponge, especially to what they do every day, and just see how they played, and kind of be able to take some of that and implement it to my own game. I think that especially here, our culture at Maryland is, as I think most people know, or you see it all the time when it's related to Maryland lacrosse. It's all about be the best. It's kind of beaten into everybody's heads at this point in a good way, but kind of just getting better every day. Our goal is just get 1% better every single day. Just having that be the best mentality, I think, putting your head down and just working, trying to beat the guy next to you. And I think that's a key part of our culture, which makes us so great, and which helps develop not only you as a player, but Coach Tillman says it all the time. Like he's not trying to make just good players; you're trying to make great people and great leaders as well. So kind of just buying into the system and trusting the process has been something that I've been trying to really take into my own life kind of the past couple of years.
Your dad obviously played lacrosse, played at Loyola, and then looked like he kind of played professionally or semi-professionally for a while. Can you kind of talk about what it was like having a dad? Not, I want to hear about growing up, but playing lacrosse after college is a very difficult proposition, right? From my understanding, it's hard to kind of break it and make it in that professional sense. So can you kind of talk about the journey he went on post-college, and what exactly can you do as a lacrosse player to kind of, make enough of a living after college if you want to play professionally?
Yeah, so obviously when my dad was playing, so he played at Loyola. He went to Mount St. Mary's his freshman year and then transferred to Loyola University. He played under Coach Cottle and assistant coach Petro at the time. And at the time, I'm almost positive the MLL wasn't a thing yet. So he obviously was friends with a lot of great players he went to Loyola with. a lot of great people, and he made those relationships and got to play on Team Toyota for a little bit, which was kind of like a summer ball team. He made a lot of great relationships with great players at that time as well. And then I think he got the opportunity to play for the Bayhawks for a couple of years, which he loved. But I think I can even say this now with knowing a lot of people in the PLL, especially when it comes to the money. I think unless you're fully bought in, like some of the really great players, you're not going to make kind of a you're not going to be able to live off the paychecks the PLL give you. They're just not they're not big enough yet. Which not a diss at them. I think they're really doing something special right now, especially with growing the game the way they are. But I think, especially with my time when my dad was in the PL or MLL, he talked about it was all about just how much he loved lacrosse and the relationships he had. And I can even say that for guys like Ajax, Brett, Geppert, Bubba. I can go on, Higgins, so many older guys that are in the PLL that are Terps. They just talk about how much they love still playing the game, the opportunity to play the game at such a high level. And it's a great accomplishment, one. And the paychecks are great. I think they mentioned that, but it's not something that they can obviously live off of. So I think the opportunity to just play at the highest level in lacrosse for them is just such a great opportunity. And I know my dad is super proud of himself, and I am so proud to obviously call myself his son for being in that spot as well. So
I just wanted to ask a follow-up, like how that's just like there's not a lot of professional sports that like college is kind of, I guess, you're probably making more money in NIL at Maryland that you can make, maybe not in the PLL, but in like other avenues. Is that like put an emphasis even on like the 4 years you're at playing college lacrosse, because there's not that like necessarily that next step that you can kind of last in lacrosse? Do you think that's what kind of makes the NCAA title, the Final Four, those things so special compared to maybe other sports where obviously it's a big deal, but a lot of guys, Cooper Flagg this year, if he wins a national title at Duke, it's not that going to change alter the outcome of his career, right? So do you think that not having that next option puts even more of an emphasis on the college level?
I would 100% agree. I think that obviously, like, if you get drafted and go to the PLL, like, that is a great accomplishment. But it is not like you're going to the NBA or NFL. You know what I mean? It's just not established. And as established as those, leagues. And that's not, again, like I said before, a diss to them. They're just still growing. And and I love watching the PLL. Like, that's something that I watch all the time. I love watching the guys I played with or guys I've looked up to for a lot of years. But I think and I know I keep on mentioning these guys, but they even say it when coming back to like hang out with us. Like time flies fast, and it will never be the same. Like, you leave the locker room, and it's just different. You're not on that you don't have the opportunity to go to class and then go to the locker room and hang out with your guys every day. It's more so you're going to work, and then maybe you fly out a weekend, you get to play, and then you got to fly home. It's not like you're hanging out with the guys every day. And especially on a D1 lacrosse team, I think it's just so important that you build such great relationships and you gel so much and have such great chemistry as a team. You guys go through so much throughout the course of a year. Like last year, so many different parts of adversity that our team faced, and we got as far as we did, and that was such a great opportunity. One of the last two teams standing, and that still burns. But I look back and I think about great guys like Ajax and Luke, and guys like Nick Red that have had such a great impact on my life, and who are now such like great friends of mine that I would never want to give away those relationships. But I think it just makes like especially making it like to the Final Four, or Big Tens, or the NCAA tournament, that much more special, especially in college for lacrosse.
Growing up in Baltimore, you went to Loyola Blakefield, play lacrosse there. You got a pretty strong lacrosse program in your backyard at UMD. What was that recruitment process like? I assume that was maybe a little bit of an easy decision to come to Maryland with it kind of right in your backyard growing up watching the Terps.
Yeah. So, um, it as much as an easy decision, it looked like at the same time it wasn't that easy. I think choosing a college is extremely difficult. I for a while kind of really didn't ignore Maryland, but was kind of looking elsewhere just because Maryland's Maryland. Like it's kind of right in my backyard. Like it's far enough away from home where I can be myself, and I've learned that now because I go here. But I kind of wanted to look at other great programs, see how they were, and the stars aligned in such a great formation, and I visited campus and I completely loved it. Fell in love as soon as I stepped on campus and had my visit. I was set. I wanted to be a Terp, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. So,
growing up, even before high school, you talked about your dad. What age did you start playing lacrosse? I imagine if your dad was so into the sport, he probably had a stick in your hands, right after you were born.
I have pictures of me when I was around like 3 or 4, probably playing like bobblehead lacrosse, which is you're kind of wearing like a helmet way too big for your skull, and you don't wear pads and you just wear gloves, and it's kind of like the kiddie soccer matches where everybody's like in a group like chasing the ball. That's kind of how it was, and my dad was my coach. It wasn't really too much development. It was just for fun, and kind of as a young age, my dad was my coach as well. So I didn't really get, I think, serious in lacrosse. I played so many sports growing up. I didn't really get like, I always loved lacrosse, but I didn't really think about like, okay, like this is what I want to do until about probably middle school. And then that was when I kind of really put my head down and told myself like, this is what I love. This is what I want to try to be successful at. And my parents supported me. So, yeah.
Very well. You obviously mentioned the Final Four in the national championship game run that you guys had last year. For a bit of the time last season, at least from the outside looking in, it didn't necessarily look like Maryland was going to make it that far. Obviously, a lock to make the tournament for most of the season. But what do you think clicked once the NCAA tournament started, and being able to make that run all the way to face Notre Dame, and especially the domination of the Virginia game? What do you think as a team clicked in those final games?
Yeah, I think what clicked mainly for us was just realizing that, like, just earn another week. Like, this could be our last. Like, we have a lot of guys returning this year who were obviously on that team, but last year we lost a lot of the older guys who were like fifth years at the time who have been playing for a really long time. Guys like Maltz and Jack Brennan, Owen Murphy, Luke, Ajax. So guys that really just loved this program so much, and it kind of clicked at the end of the year. We got really, really close as a team, and we kind of really just put our heads down, and we were thinking like, this could be the last. Like when we played Princeton, we were like let's earn another week. Like let's earn another week of us being able to hang out, us being able to be together. And then we go to Duke, we go to Long Island, and that was obviously a great game, great team, generational team, and they, we go up there, we're like, let's earn another week. And that weekend, we actually had a lot of adversity. We were, were driving up there, and our bus broke down, driving into Long Island, maybe like on a bridge that was like hundreds of feet over a river. And like we had to take Ubers off the bridge to like get to practice in Long Island. So it was just like adversity, like problem after problem after problem. And we just kind of looked at the bright spot of everything that we were going through. And we just thought about the group that we were in and the people we were with. And we were like, this is it. Like, you just got to keep on going. Doesn't matter how we do it. Just matters like that we get through it. So I think that was super important.
That's funny. I had never heard that story before about the bus breaking down. I mean, getting to Long Island is obviously an adventure always, but kind of a good metaphor for the adversity of the team, as you said. Obviously, you guys are facing Notre Dame in about 2 weeks from now. I assume everybody on the team had that game circled before the season. Guys going down to Atlanta. I assume you kind of mentioned, the team at the end of the season last year kind of was building up and to get to the national championship game, and then obviously lose to Notre Dame. I assume that's a game you guys are really, really looking forward to at this point in the season.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, obviously, I think it is something we're looking forward to. I think really significantly, guys for like Braden Erska and our alumni Ryan Syracuse, even recruit Ollie Skeen, who's down there. Just like Atlanta's such a hotbed, I think, or up and coming hotbed for lacrosse. I think it's really important to grow the game down there. So I think really looking at that before the season, we were like, wow, this is really cool. Being able to have the opportunity to play in Georgia Tech Stadium is going to be awesome. But, right now I think we're just focused on Princeton. I think Saturday night or Sunday, we'll flip the page and we'll start thinking about Notre Dame. They're a really great team, and I'm excited to be able to have the opportunity to play them again. But right now, we're just focused on going up to Princeton in New Jersey this weekend and just playing our game, being Maryland Terrapins, and then we'll flip the page next week. So
very well. Makes sense taking it 1 week at a time. AJ, we really appreciate having you on this week, and we look forward to watching you guys the rest of the way.
Awesome. Thank you, Brennan, Michael, and Sam. I know he was on here a little bit, but yeah, it was a great opportunity. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you guys around.